range, they should be okay. And then Kog'Maw with Kog'Maw has the nice mix of physical and magic damage that you're looking for. So TF doesn't really need to have that same kind of burst that you would normally expect. The concern is going to be, as the game progresses, if orbit gets a little bit too much armor, and that is going to be probably how Urgot's going to build. Usually you see Urgot get a little bit of early damage like a Brutalizer or something and build really quickly into a Frozen Heart, and that's actually going to be really effective against this team because a lot of their damage is physical, but they do have a really nice mix of magic actually with Kennen and with TF and with Kog'Maw.
A little bit of a dance in the middle, but guys, we are now finally into the game. Semi-finals for the Cybersports Network playLEGENDS Cup number 2. Give it up for your blue team, oRb. Used to be the Hood Stomp Graves GG. Now with some sponsorship under their belt, they're looking for their first big win here in the Cybersports Network. But on the other hand,
are they sponsored by the gum company? Can we just say that from now on?
I have no idea. But we do got
Orianna and Urgot keep you squeaky clean.
I don't want to know what you're referring to.
I'm referring to the gum.
I don't know what a orbit gum is.
It is orbits, right?
I don't know.
Orbit gum. I'm gonna alt
never heard of that. I live in Canada though, so there's a lot of weird things
that
don't make it up here. You could be referring to something totally awesome, but banned in Canada.
All right. Well, it must be. They decided it was too mature for your Canadian sensibilities. Orbit gum. It's a gum brand.
Now, looky
regardless,
here.
Regardless, it should be fun. And actually, it's interesting. Both teams are sending their bot lane top, so kind of expecting that early aggression.
Yeah.
And both Kennen and Shen can farm effectively against a 2v1, so they were kind of. I think Kennen, obviously does a little bit better. So I think they were kind of thinking, oh, well, if they're going to try and shut down Shen, we can't allow that. So let's send Urgot and Soraka top, and it's actually working out for them. And already Riven picking up that red buff is going to go for some early aggression while Brad is going for the blue buff. So that's going to speed up Brad's jungle clearing a little bit, slow down his ganking, but that's not really a big concern for them. They need to get some levels before they have a lot of ganking potential in these lanes anyway.
Well, Yoda's in position. He does have that red buff in the bush. We have no ward coverage down here whatsoever. Can we get an early first blood? It's going to be hard against that positioning of Zeke.
But the big thing is that Zeke, he has his Shuriken. He doesn't have his Lightning Rush yet, so if they are able to get in on him, they will be fine. He's very close to hitting level 2, but actually Vec is going to get the level before him. There's the level on Shen, and this is where they're going to be going in for this opportunity.
Nope.
Nope, that's how we'll cast. It's just nope.
Anti-Korean style, the most Dyrus style. We'll do it Dyrus style.
Is that the Dyrus style of casting? That would be fantastic.
I don't know.
I actually cast with him one time. I don't remember any nopes coming out.
Unemotional and disinterested. That's how we'll do it. Yep. Yeah, Bloodwater up here with Parole, though. I mean, they're going to keep going one-on-one. What is Soraka going to be doing, though? Is she going to go up for an early ward, or is she going to come down for a strange early gank? Nope, early ward.
Well, she's just trying to get some early ward coverage, recognizing that, Brad is going to be really aggressive with these ganks. The pink ward and the tri-brush is just such fantastic play, and already Hood Stomp getting some nice harass against Kog'Maw. You don't have that same regen in the Lulu lane, so Lulu is a really aggressive lane, but the lack of regen compared with Soraka is, where their weakness is. So obviously any early harass would be fantastic on their part. But by pushing up this lane, obviously they're going to deny Kog'Maw a lot of his farm. Kog'Maw can farm very effectively in most lanes with his range, but maybe this can put him out of his place a little bit. It'll be interesting to see where Lee Sin goes, though, now that he's going to have this red buff.
Okay, yeah, it's not looking really good for Parole at all. He's just getting chunked down mercilessly by that Urgot.
Oh, but mid lane we have Riven coming in on a Takashi. Here's the stun. They do have the Ignite going off. One more attack, and actually Link flashing in for it, but now underneath the tower, taking some damage, almost going down to TF. Some nice aggression there. Takashi X still chasing after him. We do have Brad coming in here. He's going to be able to pinch off Link. Going to barely be able to get out of there, though.
Crazy times.
Yeah. What are you doing staying in?
In theory, dying.
Well, in actuality, dying. There's the stun. We took the shield. The first blood going off on the TF.
He gave it to Takashi. I thought he let him live for some strange reason, but no. There's your first blood, buddy. Good times overall.
Yeah, and any early advantages that they can get are obviously going to be huge since TF and Lee Sin provide such a huge map presence. Yoda now coming into the spot lane again, and actually the ghost from Shen being popped, and I don't know, just a little bit of a tip of the hat there. Zekin is going to be perfectly fine with that lightning rush. If they can kind of force some aggression from Zekin, where Kennen uses the lightning rush to kind of try and get some harass on Shen, if Shen can bait it out a little bit, then very quickly Kennen is a very weak lane. But otherwise, it's going to be such a tough gank. It's really impossible to get in on him. He doesn't have any wards yet, but the lane's pushing up, so this is the perfect opportunity for him to go back and buy, and he's going to be perfectly safe in that bottom lane.
Where's the Kennen? It's almost like chase the Teemo. Oh, he actually cancels at the last second. Did he show himself? No, we don't have any kind of vision there. So he's going to be all right here just to farm up a little bit. He's going to get off with that shot. That's going to be the notifier, though. And here we go. Oh, great dodge. Doesn't matter. There's an exhaust coming out. But I'm not too sure. With that taunt, that is definitely going to be a KO, especially with that ignite. And Vec is going to be taking down the little Yordle.
Yeah, just really no reason to be staying in. The lane's all the way pushed up. I mean, if you look at the lane right now, how is he going to farm that? It's all the way up at the tower.
Oh.
But regardless, I mean, he's been doing a pretty good job with that lane so far. Wanted to have a little bit more control. We actually have Brad coming in, is shielding onto Parole, going to try and get a Q off. Lemon Nation a little bit out of position, has to throw off the flash, is going to be able to get out of there. So Brad, holding some position for this lane a little bit. And actually we have a fight going off mid. Yoda coming in on Takashi X. We do have Link going to try and stop this ultimate. It did go off. And actually Takashi going to be bursting down Link. One more attack. We'll be able to do it. Can Yoda pick him up? He's chasing him down now. We have the stun coming off. One stun, able to get out of there. So Takashi X masterfully avoiding the gank there.
I saw him take that gold card, but then it kept going. It's like, no! Yeah. But then he got one off anyways, and it was K.
Oh, I didn't think he was going to get it.
No, me neither. But hey, these guys are pros for a reason, right?
Yeah, and it's actually interesting. He started off with the Sheen, so a little bit larger base mana pool, not rushing that early damage again, just wants a little bit more utility. And then, you saw that health has kind of been helping him out, working out for him. He's going to have a little bit more damage as far as procs are concerned. And right now, there is no war top. Lee Sin coming in for another gank.
But he is going to be finding Lemon Nation in there with him, but no kisses from him. No, he's going to go straight for Hood Stomp as gets a little bit of a heal. And yeah, that did not actually hit Parole, but doesn't matter. We landed a few Qs onto Brad. He's going to have to back on up. Parole cannot pressure that whatsoever for fear of getting covered in goo. Nobody likes being covered in goo.
I hate it. It's the worst.
Isn't it?
But Kog'Maw did get a couple more CS there, so that's a 4 CS gank. That's a mission accomplished. Sort of.
Sort of.
We'll go with it.
That wasn't a summoner heal gank, though, because we still have that for Hood Stomp. So he'll be alright. Yeah, this Sheen early, though, from Takashi. I don't know. That seems risky to me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would normally go for a little bit more ability power, so you have a little bit more aggression with your wild card. But the big thing here is, we were kind of talking about earlier, Orianna in TF is actually a very even lane. And so because he knows he doesn't need to play as safe back, he can use his auto attack. Orianna does have a generally pretty shorter range, though she was buffed. She actually has a really nice range, but they're very close to range. I don't know the exact numbers, but they're almost the same attack range, which means that TF can get off those attacks, get off that stun, and have that aggression. But we see him coming down bottom, Lee Sin lining up for the gank, and Kennen actually going in. TF will have this ultimate in shortly. He's still coming down the lane, not going to use the ultimate. We do have the ultimate coming off from Zekin. He is throwing his ghost. Can One Bad Brad get in? He's going to be able to get the Q. There it is. The slow is going off. He's getting the exhaust, but Brad very close to going down, not able to pick up the kill.
Poor Takashi. Had his ult up the entire time and a gold card, could not find an opportunity to use it. Oh, up top, however, Hood Stomp is going to be throwing down the ultimate on top of Bloodwater. In comes Yoda, but unfortunately just too little too late, not able to land the kill on top of Lulu. So two very aggressive lanes on different axes of this map, but I don't know, that felt like that was just a missed kill on Vec in the bottom.
Yeah, that's always terrible when you kind of hold on to your summoners, or in this case your ultimate. He's like, no, I got it. It's no big deal. We've got this kill. I mean, he was so sure that he had it. The TF ult is really on a short enough cooldown. He probably needed to just blow it. It would have opened up a Dragon opportunity immediately after. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't take Dragon regardless, particularly since immediately after they saw Riven up top, but we do see them coming up in this top lane again. We do have Lee Sin. Here's the TF ultimate coming in with the Hood Stomp. Hood Stomp going to flash out of there, but we do have Brad coming onto him. They're actually just going to turn onto Lemon Nation, pick up that quick kill, but actually Urgot not getting out of range fast enough. We did have the Fear, I don't remember what it's called, from Lulu. They are chasing him down. There's the stun from Takahashi X. We did have the Shen ult coming in. Lee Sin still chasing. They're going to back off now, taking a little bit too much damage. Recognize they're chasing way too far into the enemy team, but still a successful gank going off. 3-1 advantage right now.
I call it the squirrel, but yeah.
Well, I'll just call it the squirrel from now on. There we go. Done.
Yeah, Lulu and her CC. You do make a good point about that dragon. I mean, it might have been a little early for a dragon, but 3 of them down there, and they would have had no aggression whatsoever from Orbit, so might have been a little bit of a missed opportunity. And you did see, as soon as Takashi threw out his ultimate, that was the only thing he actually had, because he threw down everything else trying to kill Shen in that bottom lane, but it doesn't matter. Hoodstomp saw it, immediately turned around, flashed on out of that. He did live, and as I say that,
going down.
he goes down.
He did live, but not for long.
The Chuck Norris kick coming in, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. We were talking about the dragon. I'm kind of wondering. I have to admit. I mean, Fortnite, they're such smart players. Obviously, they knew that they had the potential for a dragon, but I think the thought there was, hey, let's not allow them to take this top lane. They have the double, lane top. If we push down the tower early or something, if we get some kills on Kog'Maw, that sets Kog behind. So really the key for their team is to get Kog'Maw ahead. And right now, Kog'Maw is farming effectively. He's 1-0-1. They're, everything's working out for them. If they take the dragon, yeah, it gets Kog'Maw a little bit more farm, but maybe it leaves them a little bit more susceptible in that top lane where Orbit takes advantage there. So from that perspective, it definitely makes sense for Fortnite having kind of the more safe presence here. So even though they have an aggressive team, again, we see them piling on that pressure primarily to get Kog'Maw farmed so that they have, this fantastic range damage.
Yeah, those, quote, hyper carries, so to speak. Is you can get them snowballing, it's going to be a very fun game for him. But down south, Vet going toe-to-toe with Kennen very nicely. What is the score for them? 68 creeps to 60. So, it's more or less even. In terms of who's winning in creeps, it is right now Orianna sitting at 94. TF has gone wandering a few times, so he's a little bit behind, but with that Sheen and his gank potential, I mean, he has a lot of burst out under his name.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I just actually noticed Zekin is running Swiftness boots, which I have never seen in a competitive match before. I can't remember the last time I used them, but kind of a smart decision here. It really depends. They've got a lot of bursts with Riven and Shen. I mean, they have so much killing potential. Zekin can't allow it to happen, so with their mobility, the Swiftness boots allows them to avoid ganks a little bit more. We see right now Shen just bullying him down bottom, though. Shen has great harass, great sustain in lane. Obviously, that's why he's such a strong laner. So it'll be interesting to see how he's kind of reworked once they can reduce the power of his ultimate, because that's the big thing, is Shen's so difficult to balance because his ultimate is just so OP. So he's either got to be terrible in lane or he's going to be an OP champion. And right now, we're seeing the latter because he can control a lane very effectively and then still have that map control.
We got some pings going down to that top river area, so I assume that they know that it's warded at this point, but we did notice that everyone is in that mid to bottom area, and we did have Shen bullying out Kennen for that exact reason, so they could get that dragon.
The TF ult onto Urgot. There's the stun going off. We do have Lee Sin coming in there with the Q. They will get the slow into Hood Stomp. He's very close to going down. Another stun, but actually the Shen taunt onto Kog is able to dissuade them. They are backing off now. We have Soraka there to back off Urgot. They can get out of there safely, so an unsuccessful gank from Fortnite. But Kog'Maw going to be very happy going back up to farm.
It's really hard to kind of jump one-on-one in that case with Urgot. I mean, the rest of the team after Takashi warped in wasn't exactly in prime position to help out, and as we did notice before, Urgot likes to build a bit more tankier in nature, so if you had to jump someone, I wouldn't jump Urgot.
Yeah, that's definitely the case, but I mean, if they're really just looking to pick off anyone, and you just see such great team defense from Orbit, and that's the big concern, is that they've got the Soraka and Shen. Actually, Urgot swapping with Parole, going to be having a lot of damage there. I don't think they have enough to follow it up, though, so we have Kog'Maw actually turning onto Hood Stomp. There's the Lulu ultimate. We have the exhaust going off onto Urgot. He's going to take him down very quickly, turning onto Lemon Nation. They're going to be able to get one more slow under this tower. They're going to back off. They do see Orianna coming up in this top lane, so a successful kill, a little bit, I don't know, cocky, a little arrogance coming out of Urgot, and I don't know, kind of not going his way.
21% lifesteal under Kog'Maw, but other than that, all his other numbers look fine. So yeah, maybe just a little bit of cockiness, you know, interrupting the combos with Lulu CC, and yeah, that might be a little bit of a slap in the face to Hoodstomp. He's now 0-2 in that top lane.
And it really goes to how strong of a dueling support Lulu is. I mean, that's really the strength. Soraka is more about harass. Let's just sustain this lane, you know, control the game. Whereas Lulu, on the other hand, she's like, hey, you know, come on, bring the fight to me. I can take it. We're going to shut you down. We have the Lulu ultimate. We have the shields. So, you know, just really effective play. That's really why she's such a strong support currently. But oRb really needs to start making some plays, and they're starting to get in that point in the game where they can start doing that. Shen, obviously, as the game progresses, can continue to split push. We'll see that kind of CLG tactic that they always like running, but that's kind of what Shen always does. But I don't know, Orbit, they do have a lot of pick-off potential, so that's really their goal, to just pick up some kills, use that split push Shen, and right now he is holding his own down bottom.
Oh no, Vec down south, Shen, he's doing fantastic. Has himself that giant spout now, so what do you think of this kind of lineup? Giant spout into a frozen mallet?
Yeah, most likely. I mean, just get some health so you can, I don't know, play against anyone right now. We do see Brad coming up in this top lane, just kind of sitting out there. Maybe try and bait in Hoodstomp, but I think Hoodstomp's going to be a little bit more passive, particularly since that last death. So, I don't know, it's going to be a pretty tough gank, but he actually might throw the Q off into Soraka, isn't going to go for it. So we'll have to kind of see how that works, whether or not it's stalling out Brad too much. Actually, the ward drop into the shield, going to get the Q off onto Urgot. There's the ultimate back, so he's got the slow. The TF ult coming in as well. Shen's coming in now, so TF underneath the tower is going to be taunted. There's the Urgot swat into TF. We do have TF very close to going down, but the Lulu ultimate is going to keep him alive. But in the meantime, Hoodstomp turning onto him. They're able to pick up the Lee Sin kill. They have to back out of there. All of oRb is pretty low, though. They might get stunned by Takashi. We do have Orianna coming in. There's going to be the ultimate onto Takashi X. He does go down. Urgot did go down, though, and Parole is going to be chasing them off, trying to get some damage, isn't going to have enough to turn it around on them. There's the word vomit. We have actually a ton of action. They're still going at it. I can't believe these teams are going at it. We have the Ignite going off into Parole. He's got the shield. One more attack on the Link. We'll be able to do it. He is going to be going down. We'll see whether or not that passive can pick him up.
Nope.
Just going to have to back off.
So yeah, what turned out to be a 2v2 turned into a 4 versus 4 in very short order, but a lot of deaths under all that. But you know, bottom line, 7-4 now for 4-0, but the gold lead actually going to oRb by a slim 800.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we were talking about. Just great map control from all of these teams. Zekent, his teleport is down, so it will be up shortly. The next fight that happens, it will be up, and I'm sure oRb has a general knowledge of when that teleport is up, so that'll definitely be key. And Shen's teleport will be down for another 3 minutes, so we'll have to see how that works out for 4-0 coming up.
And you can see Urgot, after he's coming back to the lane, starting to tank up quite a bit. Has himself that chain vest, so he's going straight for the Glacial Shroud. And he does have the Brutalizer. Sometimes I like to see a variation of the Manamune, and then into Brutalizer into everything. But, you know, at 0-3-2, I mean, we were 0-2-0, and now we're 0-3-2. It's not exactly been Hoodstomp's best game ever.
Yeah, Manamune is, definitely one of those strong items for Urgot. We actually have Brad coming in once again, shielding onto a ward. There's the slow, the TF ultimate coming on once again. All this aggression in this top lane, able to pick up another kill for 4-0. But yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, the Manamune, it is a strong item. It gives him that mana he needs, but at the same time, Frozen Heart, it gives you the mana you need. You don't get the damage out of it, but it allows you to, against physical damage teams, just be right in the middle of the fight. And that's really what you're looking for is Urgot, that mid-game aggression. And Manamune, because you're short range on Urgot, it kind of hurts some of your aggression. So Frozen Heart allows you to be short range and still be dealing damage effectively.
Vex still going toe-to-toe down here up against Zekent. Is it Zekent or Zekent? Zekent, right?
I like Zekent because it's like a trigonometry term or something.
I'll take your word on that one.
Well, no, I mean, it's Zekent, so it's not Zekent, but I like to imagine there's another player somewhere that he duos with that's Zekent.
That would be awesome.
I know that was terrible,
true.
but I'm going to assume there's someone in the audience or like watching this stream who's actually like, yeah, all right, I'll allow that. They're nodding their head right now. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Everyone right now is like, wow, That was the worst joke I have ever heard. It was pretty bad, I'll admit.
Don't worry, they've already sat through a game with me and Pornophobia, so it's alright. We see a dragon going down, and yeah, with that artillery cannon, Pearl's going to be able to instantly see anyone in a bush, not to mention there's a ward there, so they're going to pick this one up pretty uncontested. And at the same time, they've left Hoodstomp up top all by himself, which is probably very needed at this point, because they really keep shutting him down. They don't want that pickoff potential to kind of come true, do they?
Yeah, that's definitely the concern. I mean, just so much focus on this top lane. That's one of the concerns for Urgot and Soraka. They don't have a lot of mobility. They can generally avoid a gank from like a jungler, because if you've got a physical damage jungler, then Soraka has the armor buff, so it kind of shuts down your damage. If you have an ability powered jungler or one of those support junglers, then Soraka has enough burst heal that you don't have to worry about that damage as well. But because we have the TF ganks coming in, there's just so much aggression that they can pick up those kills. And once you pile on to Urgot and Soraka, they just don't have the mobility to get out of there.
Well, at least Orianna's staying on track with her gold. She's up to a Rabadon's death cap at the 20-minute mark, so it's about that time that you want to see some of those big item pickups. Now, she's been nursing a Kage's Lucky Pick for a while now, so we're going to see a Deathfire Grasp Orianna.
Yeah, that would definitely be pretty interesting. The key is going to be, who you're going to be bursting down, because the big concern for oRb is that a lot of the characters on 4-Not, they have decent range, particularly Kog'Maw. They're really going to be Kog'Maw-centric, and he's just got such great range. So Deathfire's Grasp is a really short-range item. Like, how are you going to get in on them? But if you can get the ultimate close enough, if you can walk up, instantly burst down Kog'Maw, then very quickly maybe they can turn these fights in their favor. Riven is, very strong in those later fights.
A little bit of an exchange in the mid. Yoda taking a tower shot. The Wolves have been hit for some reason, so they're coming into the fight. Neutral party. 3-man war, no problem. But I'm very curious, we have a lot of pressure now. Mid, Dragon is down. We're not going to be attempting a Baron at any time soon, so what's the point of this aggression mid right now?
I mean, they're really just trying to see if they can pick anyone up. We do have Brad actually queuing in, though. They should back off here, so Yoda just going to dissuade them for a second. They're going to back off under their tower. They're just looking for opportunities. They know that Shen can split push bottom, get some aggression down there, so if they can hold all of 4-Not in that mid lane, and, maybe even just be safe in a fight, not necessarily engage a fight on them, then they can allow Shen to do some damage.
Well, you can see the poke wars going off. Shen is going to find out that there's a Kennen in that bottom lane. They're actually going to go at it for a little bit. Yeah, they're not really going to be hurting each other much, but hey, now we know where Kennen is. We definitely know where Shen is. He's not leaving that lane. And again, yeah, you do keep saying split push tactics, and that is definitely something that HSGGG and the OGN was really showing us, how to go Shen into one lane, split push, force a fight, ult over, and then good game well played, nominally, except that they lost in the semifinals. So. No, they lost in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, actually really dangerous. We have the flash ultimate onto Takashi X. He's immediately going to flash out of there, so oRb not able to get it. But there is actually the ultimate. They're able to burst him down. TF does go down, and now Riven chasing underneath the tower. Kennen's coming up behind him, though, and this is going to be really dangerous. They're getting all of 4-Not low, though. Yoda very close to going down. Can Kog pick him off? We do have Kennen coming in here with the disables. Is going to have to back off. Zekin going down, so oRb, really great fight control.
We didn't even drop a single teammate on WoW. It does look like Kog'Maw might try to change that fact, but at this point, looking really strong. Orbit up now 7-8, but they're still keeping the gold lead. Very impressive as Shen dances with the devil. Where is Shen? He's running away with like no health. And yeah, Parole might be a very fearsome Kog'Maw, but didn't stop the tower from dropping.
I was actually kind of waiting. It was there were a couple opportunities. It seemed like Urgot could flash ult in, and that's really the strongest thing with Urgot, having that, fast engage opportunity if you can pick people off. So I don't know, just working out very fortunately for them. I thought that Takashi was able to get out of there, though.
Oh, well, after that Orianna ult, after that ball got so far forward, no.
Yeah.
It was a sealed deal. I'm just looking at TF here, far middle, 8-7-23, now 24 minutes in, about 2,000 gold difference. It's still anybody's game. I mean, we pushed up to the tier 2 tower in the center, but that's it. We still got our side lanes to deal with, and yeah, I'd say that so far, Orbit showing a really good early game, even after Hoodstomp getting shut down pretty hard.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how this works out from oRb trying to get some damage off onto Parole. We do have the teleport in from Kennen. He is going to cancel it, so
Yep.
we'll get some of the cooldown refreshed. But in the meantime, oRb pressuring this Baron. They don't have a pink ward. We have the Oracles on Soraka, so she'll see this ward in a second here. We'll see whether or not they continue, but Kennen in the meantime is down south, and they do know that Kennen has burned the ultimate. Actually, I'm not sure if they do. Yoda was very close to being in range. We'll have to see.
Yeah, he's going to have to hoof it at this point, but yeah, Takashi throwing down the ultimate, a little bit of scare tactics. Here goes the ultimate, gets cancelled. Does not matter, Takashi gets the temporary hit points, but his team leaves him to die as a sacrifice to one of their gods. And that's not going to be good, but the good thing is they did stop that Baron. Wow, was that an ultimate landing on top of one bad Brad? It was, because Vec is now up there trying to really push this issue. We do got the Baron now actually dead for oRb, so oRb is really going to be trying to see how many kills they can get, but we did have a dragon kick over the edge. Shen no longer a threat, so again, oRb is actually going to take a fight with no deaths, and they pick up the Baron to boot.
Yeah, and the big thing is with the shields on both Urgot and Riven, on Shen as well, with the Soraka, they have so much armor, they have so much sustainability, they know that they can do Baron very aggressively, but then not have to worry about taking too much damage. So that's really a safe Baron for them. You don't have to worry about initiation as much. And then the aggression on Lee Sin over the wall. They knew he was there. They didn't want to, give him an opportunity to engage or steal Baron. They just kind of held Fortnite at bay. And I don't know, these kind of small fight enclosures, these Baron enclosures are very strong for Orianna. That's where the strengths come in. TF, obviously not one of the strongest champions in fights. TF can't just kind of run forward and be like, hi, I'm TF. I'm going to, throw off my stun card. So, I don't know, Fortnite, it seemed like they were in such control of this game. They have to step back for a second. They still have that great late game potential. They still have really strong fight control with all the disables up front and with that Kog'Maw. But I don't know, just not able to be as aggressive as they want to be, because this is right when oRb is at their prime. They are looking to have some great aggression. They're looking to take as many advantages as possible and coming back into this game in a very huge way.
Well, that dragon had absolutely no chance. We didn't actually pick up the ward there in River, but we do got that clairvoyance going down. And we are going to notice that everyone is kind of just sitting around here. We do throw down the orb onto Yoda, so if Yoda can jump in there, that will leave Orianna to throw down her ultimate and hopefully compress 2 or 3 of them. But at this point, it does look like we're just going to go back to the whole split pushing thing, because Vec is very comfy in his lane, enjoying himself a nice buffet of creeps.
Yeah, and that's one of the things with the split pushing. It does allow you to push more aggressively into a tower. They know, actually, we have the ultimate coming on Takashi, so there's the quick kill on TF, able to pick it up. And that's huge. I was actually about to say, oRb, they don't have great pushing capabilities. They have such a short-range team. They can't just run up and attack the towers as well as they want. But if they're able to pick up kills and still have the split-pushing Shen, they have a huge advantage. We have Brad coming in, though. Here's the Kennen ultimate. He's just going to keep going through, doesn't want to throw it off. Recognizes that they're a little bit weak right now. It is a 4v5 once Shen comes in. So they'll just want to kind of clear some waves, see how late they can stall.
Good stun onto the hood stomp, but he just shows up his shield and gets off that goo on top of Parole, so a lot of auto attack going down there. The turret is now down. The inhibitor is being laid bare as Shen is still split pushing. Sees no need to jump into here. He's just cool in that bottom lane. And that's going to be quite the trade-off. A kill, 2 towers, maybe a third. And but TF is now actually back up into the fray, so he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But we still got this Baron going in. It is going to be a really ballsy play there by Shen, but it does look like kind of did work out a little bit. Ziken is going to drop, however, Link going to be able to pick him up. The Shen ult going down does not matter as Shen does drop to Takashi X. Hood Stomp not looking so good as oRb is going to be dropping. It's kind of getting a little bit low. We've now lost out, few teammates. Yoda is a little too far behind enemy lines.
Wow, the flash from Parole, able to pick up Urgot, now chasing after Soraka. We do have Riven going down as well. That whole fight went off, and I was like, oh wow, Orbit's going to take this game. They just won this fight, but you saw Lulu able to keep her team alive. Like, it was almost perfect initiation for Orbit. They had Shen come in, they had the Orianna ball on top of Shen, which is what we were talking about earlier, how that provides for the easy Orianna ultimate. They were all clumped up under the ultimate, all got very low, but then able to back off. They, had a couple of heals, or they had the 1 heal and then the shields, and able to turn it around and keep Kog alive through the long fight. And obviously Kog through a long fight always has an advantage, so a quick push here from Fortnite down this mid lane.
That's going to revitalize their senses a little bit. It's still only about a 3,000 gold difference after, you know, 1 tower difference and 3 kills. That's it. It's still a very close game. We do have the center inhibitor advantage for oRb, but that's not overcomable by any means.
No, of course not. But the big thing is that they already have the split pushing capabilities. They don't want to have a really aggressive fight like that last one. I mean, Orbit, they smelt victory. They had the taste of blood on their tongues, and they were like, yes, let's go take it. We have Fortnite on the ropes. And I thought they had him. Orbit thought they had him, but they weren't able to close it off, so they're definitely going to be a little bit more passive now. But with that mid inhibitor down, knowing they have this split push Shen, I mean, right now, Shen can match up against almost anyone. The only one in this game who can take down Shen is Kog'Maw, obviously, and even 1v1, I'm pretty sure Shen would win that matchup. So no one can stop Shen from split pushing, so they have mid down. Bottom is owned by Shen, so all they have is mid lane. Can they engage on mid lane? Well, we don't have a Shirelia's on Soraka, so that's really going to be the big weakness because we can have an aggressive engage from Fortnite.
Well, we catch out Lemon Nation a little bit, but here by one bad Brad, there we go. The Kennen ultimate going off with Azonia's, so he's not going to be taking too much damage there from Hoodstomp. The Riven ultimate coming out as we do swap Takashi X. He's going to try to get insta-gift. Oh my goodness, getting chunked down really hard. Hoodstomp's going to put a missile in his face, and that's going to be a second kill on top of, wow, the entire team on the ropes. Double kill for Riven. The only person alive out of that one is Kennen. And all those things that we just said might be irrelevant as they literally could win the game right now.
Yeah, this is over. They do have plenty of time to push down this Nexus, so just fantastic play from Orbit. The interesting thing about Urgot, everyone looks at Urgot as just such this, you know, weak late game carry. Urgot isn't weak late game. Urgot's like strong in all facets of the game. The big thing with Urgot is that Urgot isn't a standard AD carry late game. Urgot can't be the person who's going to focus down tanks, can't have that upfront damage like a lot of other ADs can because Urgot's range is so short. But the benefits of Urgot, obviously, one, you can focus someone down. So they know that they've got a target like Kog'Maw or TF that they want to burst down. Boom, Urgot's your man. Then also, I think a lot of people forget about Urgot's passive. So Urgot's passive, I believe it's 15% reduced damage. Whoever you're attacking as Urgot does reduce damage. So you attack someone like Kog'Maw, and now all of a sudden this hyper carry Kog'Maw isn't eating through your team as effectively as he would like. You know, include a slow on that. It allows the team to get in. It's just such effective disruption. And when the whole team is organized in such a way, really just, I don't know, effective meshing of their ultimates. We have the Orianna ultimate coming in. We have the mobility of Riven and Shen. Along with the swap from Urgot, they can get right onto these carries of TF and Kog'Maw, shut them down.